Good evening. Coming up on 9 News, tempers are flaring in Far East El Paso tonight, where a funeral home may soon grace neighborhood backyards. A proposed highway may soon carry toxic waste from Mexico into Texas and New Mexico. And there's a new strain of AIDS that's been detected. Join us in a couple of minutes for these stories and more.
This is KTSM-TV 9 El Paso.
Make a mistake. Phone in seat 2 to consider the other options.
An intense battle of words over a proposed funeral parlor.
From KTSM El Paso, the heart of West Texas, southern New Mexico, and northern Mexico, this is 9 News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. Tempers are flaring in Far East El Paso tonight, where residents are upset that a funeral home may soon be built in their backyards, and they're fighting to make sure it never happens. Here's more on tonight's confrontation.
In what ways?
To the owner of Martin Funeral Homes, it's a practical addition to a community.
Every one of us need one someday, and most people, at least in this community, believe in a traditional funeral. And the rumor that we were going to put a crematory in is outrageous. We're not going to put a crematory in.
Crematory or not, residents simply do not want a funeral parlor near their homes. To most, it's a morbid thought as well as an economic issue of resale value.
It'll be very, very close to our backyards. We'll be barbecuing and having a funeral procession going right behind our backyards.
Homeowners are steaming, pointing fingers at their city representatives, saying judgments were poor when the area's zoning laws were made.
But obviously, the city make a mistake to zone in seat 2 to consider the other options.
Did you ask your realtor what it was when you bought your house?
Yeah?
Yeah.
They told us it's going to be a non-commercial.
Then you sue your realtor because they're the ones who should have told you it could have been a funeral home, a pool home.
Representative Joe Pickett says he'll be sure Martin Funeral abides by strict zoning rules, including keeping residential streets free from the parlor's traffic. Residents may hire a lawyer to fight construction of the funeral home, whose groundbreaking is scheduled for next month. Murder, the ultimate crime that leaves behind victims, grieving families, and suspects. But murder also leaves behind many clues, evidence that may eventually lead authorities to discover exactly what happened and bring criminals to justice. Tonight, Erica Castillo begins an in-depth look into forensics, the science that helps investigators piece together the anatomy of a crime.
These are slides of different crime scenes and victims. The pictures show forensic evidence, the bits and pieces of clues that investigators need to help solve a crime. It could be the specific angle of a knife gash, the size of a bullet hole in a body that's been in the desert a month, a shoe print on a victim's face, burn marks where a rope was used, a hair, a bruise, or even a set of teeth marks in the skin.
Namely, what he would be looking for is the irregularities in the actual tooth itself, and also the placement of the teeth in the specific order that they're in or how they fit in the mouth.
Investigators depend on this evidence to help positively identify a killer. One of the people charged with retrieving evidence from crime scenes is Manny Diaz, the chief investigator for the El Paso County pathologist. Diaz is in charge of crime scenes like this, and he must make sure he gathers whatever physical forensic evidence remains. Sometimes things are not really the way they appear, like here on June 10th, a shooting at UTEP. A young man was found slumped over a steering wheel with a bullet wound to the head. On the surface, it appeared to be murder. A friend of the victim instantly became a suspect.
Many times, the scene has been altered, and we depend on the pathologist to give us a true cause of death.
In this case, the chief pathologist determined it was suicide after examining the angle of the head wound and traces of gunpowder inside. In cases suspected to be murder, the forensic evidence recovered is used to assist prosecutors in court. Erica Castillo, 9 News.
Tomorrow on 9 News at 10, Erica will show us what happens to the body after it's removed from the murder scene and what pathologists look for. Some Upper Valley residents are upset tonight about a proposed highway that would lead to the Santa Teresa, New Mexico border crossing. They say the 6-lane roadway would be used as a main route for carrying toxic waste from Mexico into Texas and New Mexico. It's of special concern to some because it will pass right by the new Cantanillo Elementary.
There's going to be accidents. There's no way you can stop it. And I don't really think that the city cares, or the state or the bureaucrats that plan the road care. They just take the attitude that the toxic waste has to go someplace.
The highway won't actually be built for several years, but Gadd says the time to plan is now. Health officials in Juarez are taking substantial precautions tonight to prevent the spread of cholera in the El Paso Juarez area. In an effort to combat the deadly bacteria, as we speak, residents across the border are pouring a liter of chlorine bleach into their toilets and flushing. It's part of an anti-cholera campaign initiated by the Juarez Health Department. They hope enough chlorine will get into the Juarez sewer system to disrupt the growth of the cholera bacteria. Last week, a man and his daughter were diagnosed with the first cases of cholera in Juarez. The 8th International Conference on AIDS opened today in Amsterdam. 1,000 speakers are expected at this year's conference, which will focus on a wide variety of AIDS issues. One of the issues to be discussed will be a new strain of the deadly virus that doctors say is undetectable. Perry Peltz reports.
As a country continues to battle the deadly AIDS disease, doctors fear there may be a new and complicating twist, the emergence of an undetectable strain of the disease.
There could be other viruses that could cause a similar syndrome.
So far, researchers have identified 12 such cases in which patients developed AIDS-like symptoms but never tested positive for either of the known AIDS viruses, HIV-1 or HIV-2. Is a new retrovirus to blame? Researchers say it's too early to tell. St. Luke's Dr. Michael Grieco believes a number of possibilities exist.
It could be a virus that's not related to the HIV viruses that could also cause a sustained infection of the immune system that leads to AIDS.
It's just a moment to be intelligently concerned.
With these new cases, there is concern at the New York Blood Center, concern about the effectiveness of current blood screening techniques. Dr. Celso Bianco feels the existing system should safeguard against a new strain of the disease.
We will screen donors first by history and interview. We will continue performing all the tests that we do. In the aggregate, those tests are really very effective.
Yugoslavia's new Prime Minister, Milan Panic, is in Bosnia for a round of talks in the war-torn region. He met for 3 hours with the Bosnian president. Panic's mission is to secure an agreement to have heavy weapons turned over to the UN forces. He announced that so far Serbia has agreed to hand over weapons. No word yet from the other two warring factions of Croats and Muslims. Secretary of State James Baker is in Jerusalem to try his hand again at Middle East peace. Baker will hold talks with Israel's new leadership. Jewish settlements on the West Bank top today's negotiations with newly elected Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. A top organized crime investigator was killed today after a car bomb exploded outside an apartment building in Palermo, Sicily. 54-year-old Paolo Borsolino was a member of the anti-mafia crime investigation team. 5 of his security escorts were also killed and 15 others injured in the blast. Still ahead this half hour, El Paso's libraries and history museum are falling apart. Some say it's because of lack of funding. Kelly Kay?
Well, Michelle, we still have a few clouds outside, but the risk of storms still exists. Jeff?
Kelly Kay, some exciting news for former Miner forward Marlon Maxey in Minnesota.
Your Ford dealers present a revolutionary new way to buy. The Escort One Price program. Choose a 93 Escort LX like the sporty 3-door with air, stereo, and more. With $400 cash back, it's just $10,499. But wait, if it's a 4-door sedan you want with the same popular equipment, it's just $10,499. Then again, if you want a spacious Escort 5-door or wagon, you guessed it, the same popular equipment, just $10,499. 3-door, 4-door, 5-door wagon, $10,499. Just pick your favorite at your El Paso Ford dealers.
Wet n Wild has more of what you want.
More fun. More sun. More hot. More cool. More screams. More food. More games.
Wet and wild. Anthony exit 0!
Get pumped! El Paso Diablos!
Friday, July 24th, KTSM Radio and TV present New York Yankee Jersey Night at Cohen Stadium as your Diablos take on Shreveport. Friday night, the first 4,500 fans at Cohen Stadium will receive one of these New York Yankee jerseys free. These jerseys retail for over $20, and you get one free courtesy of KTSM Radio and TV. Game time is 7 o'clock.
Get pumped! El Paso Diablos!
At Rudolph, we just made a special purchase of Cadillacs, Oldsmobiles, Pontiacs, Buicks, and Chevrolets, and right now they're all special priced. For example, a 92 Cadillac Sedan DeVille for only $21,995. Or how about a 92 Pontiac Bonneville or a Buick LeSabre for only $15,995, or a 92 Olds Cutlass, only $13,995. All these cars are equipped with automatic, stereo, air, and more, and they're available at both Rudolph in El Paso and Rudolph in Alamogordo.
Let's take a look back at the local news-making headlines this weekend. Low water levels caused heated discussions in Mesquite, New Mexico between residents and area water authorities. Officials say they've taken care of the low levels, but some residents disagree. People living in the El Cerro area want the board to put money into the problem, but water officials say they don't have the money since they recently purchased a new water well to service the Mesquite area. They add residents living on the higher levels of land knew about water problems before moving in. And El Paso hit the national limelight this weekend as the first Miss World America pageant was broadcasted from the Civic Center. Florida's Sharon Belden won the crown. Miss Texas Margaret Johnson came in third. That's a look back. Every year, city politicians decide which department should get a piece of the financial pie. But that piece of pie seems to be shrinking for the city's libraries and the History Museum. In tonight's commentary, Leon Metz says these institutions are crying out for needed money and repairs.
City budgets are currently being set, and while these are austere times, most city departments have advocates. The El Paso Public Library and the History Museum, however, are the financial orphans of City Hall. The History Museum is blessed with good management, but cursed with poor maintenance. Patrons cannot enter the patio because the roof may collapse. Electrical wiring crawls nakedly along the ceiling. The storage room is a fire trap. Swamp coolers inject destructive moisture into exhibits, and wall and ceiling evidence of water leaks are everywhere. Security is sparse, exhibit rotation is nearly impossible, the staff is almost non-existent, and City Hall is light years distant in terms of concern. As for the downtown public library, only the lobby seems spacious. Workrooms are jammed, materials are crowded into dusty corners, book and journal orders are behind, and there isn't enough employees to even man the phones. If this building was an animal, it would be put to sleep. The Library and History Museum need help. They need advocates insisting that City Hall provide a fair and sufficient budget. After years of neglect, an adequate budget is not an unreasonable request.
You know, it is sad to see a lot of that, but at least Kelly Kate's here with the good news.
Yeah, we're still waiting on the rain. Seems like most of it right now is off across Old Mexico to the south and to the southwest. So maybe it'll come this way. Yes, yes, that's what our cameraman's doing too, waving his hands at us. Let's look at those high temperatures from today, and then we'll get to the forecast right after the break.
The Ross Summer Clearance. Save 50 to 75% off department store prices. Great fashions for the whole family at the Ross Summer Clearance now.
Get pumped! El Paso Diablos!
Wednesday at 6:30, your Diablos return to Cohen Stadium to battle Shreveport, and what a welcome Southwest Airlines, Just Plain Smart, and Y96 FM have in store for you. Southwest Airlines will give away 8 round-trip tickets for 2 to Los Angeles, Las Vegas, San Francisco, and San Antonio, and after the game, there will be a 25-minute fireworks show courtesy of Y96 FM and Southwest Airlines, Just Plain Smart.
Get pumped! El Paso Diablos!
Find a savings bonanza now at Regis Bernard Furniture's Penny Down sale. A penny down is all you need as down payment on any new home furnishings purchase during this money savings week. Put a penny down on living room sets, dining room sets, bedroom sets, dinettes, or appliances, and that's not all. You also get Regis Bernard's fantastic sale prices. The penny down sale lasts for 1 week only, so hurry to Regis Bernard Furniture, 304 South Stanton, where you also get easy credit, easy terms, free delivery, and free store-side parking.
Hey dudes and dudettes, don't be bored this summer. Go on the Sun Metro KTSM Summer Safari. Pick up a free safari map at any Peter Piper Pizza location and go exploring. You'll ride Sun Metro free to the 6 special and interesting locations outlined on your map. The first 500 kids to successfully complete the safari will win a Summer Safari squeeze bottle, good for a 10-cent refill at any Peter Piper Pizza location. You must be 6 to 12 years old to participate. Call 533-3333 for information. The Summer Safari ends July 31st, so pick up your map today.
It's been hot and dry out west, making things unfortunate for wildfire season that really kicked off this weekend up in Boise, Idaho. They've had 700 firefighters putting out over 6,300 of blazing conditions, and well, they've finally got most of that under control. In Maricopa County, just north of Phoenix, firefighters are still at it. Blazes have exceeded over thousands of acres, and while some of the folks around the Phoenix area, North Phoenix area, have to be evacuated. And over in San Diego, the blazes are pretty much under control. We've got a little bit of video from that area. We've had 2 blazes, one up around the Alpine area in the Cleveland National Forest. 600 acres are burning, and evacuation is underway as we speak. And another blaze moving into the Hidden Glen community, where firefighters are still at it. Well, we had cooler temperatures here in El Paso. Thank goodness. No fires around town. High temperature, though, of 94. There's our low this morning of 72. Our normals, our records. This time last year, we had partly cloudy skies with a high temperature of 90. Look at that, 98 degrees. Let's wait. There's our records, and there's our record 105. Here we go. Now we'll go to where we are right now. Partly cloudy skies, waiting on our maps there. Temperature sitting at 80 degrees, dew point right now at 48. Relative humidity is at 33%. Our winds are from the north at 7. Our barometer right now is rising from 30.06. Checking in with our weather watcher this evening from the Fabens area, I spoke with Rose Wilson. They have a temperature of 78 degrees. Calm, partly cloudy, and well, they had a sandstorm earlier, but they haven't had any rain. Most of the rain across the Texas-New Mexico area has been around South Texas and eastern Texas, 2400s in Austin. Port Lavaca down on the Gulf, 7 inches, 7.5 inches from about noontime this afternoon to about 4 o'clock later on today. Northern New Mexico picking up some showers, 4100s in Raton, Alamogordo 2000s, and Cloudcroft. The higher elevations of New Mexico picking up some rain, 6300s in Cloudcroft, and Ruidoso picking up about 2000s. These are all the clouds from earlier today. You can see the rain activity right there around the Carlsbad, or I should say Cloudcroft and Ruidoso area. We've got a high-pressure system right over northern Arizona, keeping things dry and making the fire conditions worse, and another low-pressure system right about here. As those two interact, you can see they're kicking off some showers just to the south of us. There is still a slight risk that we might pick up some of those for tonight. On the surface, you can see the moisture in the air from around the Tucumcari area down the Continental Divide just off to the west of El Paso. For tomorrow, a cold front will move its way from the north, kicking off more showers along the Great Plains of the United States and up around northern Michigan and Minnesota. For us tonight, partly cloudy conditions throughout the evening, a chance of isolated thunderstorms, 65 to 68. For tomorrow, it's back to work, well, with a little bit warmer conditions, 96 to 99 with a slight chance of evening showers. The extended outlook for the area, temperatures will remain in the mid to upper 90s with a slight chance of showers again on Tuesday, 96 and 63. Friday, 98 and 64, so not too much of a change. Not too bad. Thanks, Kelly Kay. Well, in the world of sports, Frank Castillo and Butch Henry pitched on this Sunday, but this coming week they may be pitching against one another.
Yes, Michelle, it appears the matchup they have waited for could take place in Houston this Saturday, believe it or not. More on that in a moment. But first, the final day of the British Open. Would Faldo recover in the nick of time for his 3rd title?
can't anyone make a sophisticated sedan that's affordable?
Yes, Hyundai Elantra.
Know where I can buy one?
Yes, Hyundai at Rudolph Hyundai next to Rudolph Chevrolet on North Mesa.
We're doing something right, and what we're doing right is offering the customer a low price every day. They don't have to shop the sale ads. They know they're going to get the best value for their dollar here at Walmart. The economy is not at its strongest point right now. Everybody's watching their dollars the best they can. What we do here is we offer them the best product for the best price, and that's why they keep coming back.
Hey there. Looking for t-shirts? Looking for shorts? The Popular has them. Hundreds of them. Colorful, spicy, fun, happy-go-lucky t-shirts and shorts. On sale right now for 25 to 40% off at the Popular. They're great-looking, cool, casual, and comfortable. A great collection for you, for him, for mom and dad, and the kids. At super savings now. Hurry in today to all 4 Popular stores, downtown Bassett, North Park, and Sunland.
Have you heard? The Popular is 90 this year. Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy. And when you're down and need relief, we get you right back on your feet. You're taking good care of yourself when you think first for better health. First Chiropractic, First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Marlon Maxey is signed, sealed, and as far as he knows, delivered to the Minnesota Timberwolves, or known as Minnesota Timberwolves. Marlon signed a 4-year deal with the NBA club tonight. He is the first rookie to sign with the team. No details of what he'll be paid for those 4 years, but it appears Minnesota is sold on his basketball skills to sign him to that kind of contract. El Paso's dynamic duo, Frank Castillo and Butch Henry, who pitched for Eastwood during their high school days, now are both pitching in the big leagues, of course. Butch for Houston, Frank in his second season with the Cubbies. As it stands right now, the rotation works out that the two will meet next Saturday in Houston's Astrodome. That will be something to see. Cubs were in Pittsburgh, though, tonight facing the Pittsburgh Pirates first inning. Their old teammate Danny Jackson gives up a single to Mark Grace. That allowed a run in. It was 1-0. Frank pitched 6 2/3. Here he KOs Andy Van Slyke. Castillo giving up only 4 hits and 1 run, yanked in the 7th. On comes Paul Asemacher. This pitch looks more like Orville Redenbacher threw it. Barry Bonds delivers that one, that game-tying dinger. Game was tied at 2s, but we head to the top of the 9th. Ryan Sandberg is paid $7 million to do things like this. Wish I could do this. Stan Belinda's fastball is in Section G, roll 35. Cubs win at 4-2. Castillo, another no decision. He is still 7-7 and deserving much better than that. His old sidekick Butch hurled against the hottest team in baseball. Henry getting some great defense in the first. Steve Finley is off the base hit for Motus Nixon, guns down Greg Olson, who's probably a step slower than me. That means he's really slow. Henry won 8 innings, giving up 7 hits, only 2 runs. He fanned 4, including Ronnie Gann. Butch even helped his cause in the 8th with the bat off the fake bunt. He slaps a base wrap to center. That led to a 2-2 tie. And the ball game went to the 10th inning when Atlanta comes up with yet another game winner. Rafael Belliard slaps this one to right. The Braves have won 9 straight and trail first-place Cincinnati by 1 in the NL West. Henry remains 3-6 with that no decision. Well, Nick Faldo has always been on the verge of true greatness, but he's always found a way, that is, to fall into a slump and underachieve. When it comes to the British Open, though, Faldo is that great player that everyone talks about. Faldo began the day in front by 4 strokes on the 5th, though he had some problems. The ball embedded in the sand. Remarkably, though, he was able to get it into position for par. That is a great shot. John Cook was making things uncomfortable over Mr. Faldo, this birdie on the 6th, and he was a shot back. Faldo was feeling some of the pressure. He missed on the par putt here on number 14, and it cost him the lead as Cook grabbed a 2-stroke edge heading into the final 2 holes. And off of that miss, Faldo was wondering, can I come back and win this one? On the 18th, Cook may have buckled under the pressure. He couldn't stand prosperity. His approach going into the gallery. Look out. This one goes into the fans, and Faldo now back into contention, and he took advantage of it. On the 17th, he will birdie the putt. He wins by 1 shot over Cook, 2 shots over Jose Maria Lozabo. Afterwards, he said it was like climbing a bloody mountain. On the Seniors Tour, George Archer had a 1-shot lead over Chichi Rodriguez heading into the final round of the Ameritech Classic, but his game went south. Well, actually went into a TV tower on the 18th. Chichi made 6 straight birdies yesterday, but today he did not have the touch. He finished at 9 under par. Dale Douglas did have the touch, though. His second shot at the 18th good enough to set him up for the birdie. He wins $75,000 for hitting that little white ball and wins by 5 strokes. He shot 66, 15 under par for the tournament. Well, East Carolina rookie linebacker Robert Jones stole the show at the Cowboy annual blue and white scrimmage in Austin today. Jones intercepted a Troy Aikman pass, returning at 58 yards for a score. The second pick also made several key hits. Coach Jimmy Johnson took notice. Jones is expected to earn a starting spot for the Pokes heading into the '92 season. American Greg LeMond has decided to call it quits at the Tour de France with the expectation that he would be 55 minutes off the pace, which would be an automatic disqualification. He made the decision on his own to drop out. Meanwhile, another American, Andy Hamsten, won today's 14th stage. He still trails leader Miguel Indurain of Spain by 8 minutes. NBA superstar Tim Hardaway is back in El Paso. The Golden State All-Star will begin his second annual basketball camp for girls only out at Montwood High School tomorrow. I hope to visit with the former minor guard at Montwood. Hopefully you'll hear from Tim Hardaway on 9 News at 6. Finally, a terrifying sight at the Pocono 500 as Davey Allison's car is tapped on the track. When he hits the grass infield, the car goes airborne, flipping 11 times. But believe it or not, he wound up with just a broken left arm and fractured skull. He apparently is alert tonight. Doctors will observe him for the next 24 hours. Darrell Waltrip was the winner of the race. I'm sure no one really cares.
And that one would certainly pull me out of the business.
Yeah,
wouldn't want to do that again. Thanks, Jeff. Well, when we come back, Kelly Kay will have your Monday morning weather forecast.
Wednesday at 6:30, your Diablos return to Cohen Stadium to battle Shreveport, and what a welcome Southwest Airlines, Just Plain Smart, and 196 FM have in store for you. Southwest Airlines will give away 8 round-trip tickets for 2 to Los Angeles, Las Vegas, San Francisco, and San Antonio, and after the game, there will be a 25-minute fireworks show courtesy of 196 FM and Southwest Airlines, Just Plain Smart. Get pumped, El Paso Diablos.
This suit at the Men's Warehouse is $200. This double-breasted, also $200. And tailored, $200. These quality suits are all $200 at the Men's Warehouse. Elsewhere, they'd be closer to $300. This classic tuxedo, $200. We've got a great selection of quality suits for $200. We guarantee it.
The Men's Warehouse in Mission Plaza Shopping Center across from Cielo Vista Mall.
Right now, Rudolph, we're featuring a group of 92 Chevy Cavaliers for only $89.95. And remember, they're available at both Rudolph in El Paso and Rudolph in Alamogordo.
Black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream for this.
Craft-made ceiling fans are simply the best. Come see why it's the only brand we sell. The lighting showcase, 1421 Lee Trevino, across from home base.
So is it galoshes and raincoats tomorrow?
Maybe just a light slicker. Let's look at the forecast for this evening. You might need it tonight, too. Partly cloudy with a slight chance of isolated thunderstorms, 65 to 68 for tomorrow. Your Monday, mostly sunny with a chance of evening storms, 96 to 99.
I'll pack a little umbrella then. Okay, but no galoshes. Thanks, Kelly Kay. Well, that wraps up our news for this weekend. We're awfully glad you joined us. And for you early birds, tune into 9 News Sunrise at 6:30 to start your day off informed. Have a good night.
News can also be heard on KTSM AM 1380 and KASK Radio FM 103 in Las Cruces.
Bell Atlantic Metro mobile customers can now call 9 News free. If you see news happening, dial star 9 NEWS on your cellular phone. It's free.
Ford's One Price program makes buying a new 93.
Wake up with 9 News at sunrise for your first look at news, weather, and traffic. Everything you need for the day ahead. Join Talia Nye and Armando De La Fuente each weekday morning at 6:30 for 9 News at sunrise. 9 News at sunrise. It'll make waking up a little easier.
This is KTSM-TV El Paso.